Hello and welcome to the Math Enigma. Today I wanted to talk about the distributive property. So the distributive property is essentially when you have equations that look like these and you need to do the multiplication, which is what our parentheses stands for, is we need to do the multiplying. So the reason this is important is because unfortunately you are going to have to keep using it. You'll learn about the FOIL method down the way, and that's where this distributive property starts to come into play. So with this, like any math problem, it's always best to just take it one step at a time. So covering this, what we have here, and using a pencil as always because we're human and make mistakes, so hopping right back into that, we have 3 times 10 plus 5. The distributive property just means that we go 3 times 10, then 3 times 5. There is easier ways to do this, but this is just to understand the concept. So 3 times 10 plus, so this would actually be its own thing here in the parentheses, plus 3 times 5. Which is, now that I do this, I realize that looks like an X. So I'm actually going to change these. See, important why we use the pencil. And actually change that to our dot for the multiplication. So, as we can see here, 3 times 10 is 30. Plus 3 times 5, which is 15. Which is then turned into 45. As our answer. And as time goes on, it will be important to include this part where you say answer after showing your work, because as math gets more complicated, you have more steps that are put in. So this just helps your teacher quickly identify, or who's ever looking at your assignment, what the final answer was that you came to. And if it's wrong, they will typically give you points for showing how you worked the problem. That's why learning how to do this is important. There is another way to work this problem though. So if they're not wanting to use the distributive property and are just like, hey, solve this real quick, it's much easier just to say 15 times 3, which is 45. That's how you know you did the distributive property correctly, is because your answers now match. So here, we'll do the distributive property again. Since these are a little bit bigger numbers, 44 times 5 is a little harder to chew. I mean, really, honestly, so is 30 times 5. So whatever, it is what it is. But just for the sake of distributive property, let's go 30 times 5 plus 14 times 5. So with 30 times 5, we have 150 plus 14 times 5, which is 80. Yes. No. 70, because I'm not using a calculator right now. I'm just using my brain. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. So, yep, 70. So, then we have 150 plus 70, which comes out to 220. There's a little check there. Well, I guess answer would be the proper thing. I'm having a day today. It's a little late for me. So, you write answer there. And then, in order to get your check, you want to go 44 times 5. Which is 5 times 4 is 20. So 0, carry the 2. That's going to be 22. 220. Then we get the check because we made sure our answer was right and we did the distributive property correctly. So hopefully this makes it where it's a little more understandable on how this works. This is some lower level algebra stuff that I just wanted to do a walkthrough on because it is important to have this foundational knowledge and make sure you understand how this rule works. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to work on the next assignment with you.